Hello.
Welcome.
All right, welcome everyone to the Sister City Blue Ribbon Committee. We'll take attendance first. Robert Kennard. Here. Mary Carey Foley.
Here.
Robert Sullivan.
Here.
Dean Freeze.
Here.
Stephanie Secord. And Rich Playlock here. I think we're expecting Ben Van Camp, should be a couple minutes late. So today we're just meeting to try to plan the lunch for Mayor Sacchetti and our visitors friends from Santa Carlo, visiting Sunday, the 29th. We have a film at the Music Hall Lounge from 10:30 to 1:30. And then we are instructed to cater an event or host possibly at the library. But yeah, so that's our intent of our meeting today.
Is it 10 or 10:30?
I believe they start at 10:30 to 1:30. That's just what I had
Thank
written.
Can you just back up? What's the day that we're gonna be time with them?
It's
Sunday, March 29.
yes.
And they're from where?
Sant'Arcangelo. And do you want to read the names again, Stephanie, if you took them down? We've got
That's
four.
Mayor Sacchetti, former Mayor Parma, Alicia Parma, Tiziano Corbelli, who is the resident of their city council, town council, and also the artist of the light artwork. And Laura, whose last name we need to check. So there are 4 people from Sant'Arcangelo.
They're all city connected. They either work at the city or are elected officials.
And will they be accompanied by several people from UNH as well?
Will be accompanied by people from UNH, and as you mentioned, they will be at morning screenings 10 to 1:30.
Okay.
And then they'd like to do a reception, and then I heard from Amy this week, they're wondering about the possibility. Get her latest. They're wondering about the possibility of showing the North End documentary following the reception, like 3 to 4. I gather it's not a long documentary, but that, and I did get the Levinson for the whole day.
It's a good idea because there'll be names in that film.
Yeah.
From Sant'Arcangelo.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So if we're okay, I'm okay. I was just looking, I still can't see her most recent, but I will find it.
So who's the keeper of that film? Can you follow up on that? Do you want me to find out?
Yeah, we might have it. Let me check with my people because thought we had it.
Was like my connection on that, but
Yeah, let me ask Amy and ask my Katie too, because we might have a digital copy or something, so.
probably.
Okay.
So last number I had heard was 30 people total for the reception.
I think the number was movable. It was the 4 visitors,
Yeah.
the UNH escorts, our mayor, and any of us.
Okay.
And beyond that, it was who do we want? Like, do we want to invite the kids who were just over there last month? The high school students.
And their teacher.
And their
Perhaps, not their escorts, their
teachers. Yeah,
teachers that went with them.
right. We could do that. If there's somebody else we think of, we could recommend that to Amy, but it's gonna be smaller than the one that we did for the students and their families here.
So if we're gonna do the film, we should have the Lost North End. We should have the filmmakers or somebody who can run to the film. But how much is translation an issue? Like, will Amy and the teacher from the high school be able to fill in if there's something I mean, Mayor Sacchetti speaks some English, but not a lot.
Okay. Did anyone meet Mayor Parma when she was mayor? She did come here, I think, but I've not met her.
I never met her, no.
No, yeah, I assume the film doesn't have subtitles or anything. I assume it's in English.
Right. But they may have, particularly Tiziano as a filmmaker himself, might be interested in the mechanics and having somebody who can speak to that, or just speak to the why, which reminds me that we should invite Donna Garganta and some of the people who were in that film.
Well, so there's two things. One is the reception and one is the movie. And it would be easy enough to invite people to the to the movie
Right.
and not to the reception, right? And
That's-
say at 3:00.
I mean, for somebody like Donna specifically, that seems a bit inhospitable.
Yeah, and she did come to the last one. That's where I met her,
Who did?
Donna. She came to the one that we had for the students at the library.
Right.
But I don't know if we want to open it up, not open it up and just have those filmmakers
Maybe
and
we
not open it.
ask Donna, because she provides she and her husband provided the hospitality the last time Mayor Sacchetti was here, because there was a gap between his meeting with Mayor McEachern and the evening reception for the students, and nothing was scheduled, so Donna and Manny drove them on a little tour of Portsmouth
Yeah.
and took them to their house, and so.
I wanna make sure we get the logistics though of the, like, what are we thinking, food, you know what I mean, how many people? We get the Levinson room, so we have the venue. Would the film be in the Levinson room as well? Do we need a TV? Do we need a PC? You know what I mean?
I have a projector.
So yeah, then it's just kind of catering, how many people?
And the catering, it occurred to me, it might be a little different because it's a Sunday. I don't know, like, I don't think Gather we did the
Yeah.
last one would be available. But I was trying to think of something that would be fun, that would be, it didn't have to be hot because they're gonna leave the music hall at 1:30. We can't, it's not a seated hot dinner. But I wondered if there was something, Vita Cantina burritos or something that is American, different, but not just cheese sandwiches.
Yeah.
But I don't know, because of the Sunday and because of the getting things.
Sunday's gonna be tough, just like, obviously you're not gonna get any place like Googie's or something like that, you know what I mean, that's not open on Sunday. But you could,
Just
you know,
Stephanos.
yeah, I don't know if they're open on Sundays.
Mm.
But no, I think that would an option. I think someone like them giving a heads up would, you know what I mean? Even Googie's probably would if you get a heads up.
But
Otherwise,
because Lisa's got a direct connection with the Lost North End.
Yeah. no, that would be good. That would be like, hey, this was made by,
They donated it last time, but
do you want me to
Stephanos did.
reach out to them or does someone else wanna, or?
So how much did they do last time? I don't want to keep asking the same people for,
That's another,
no, I think if we do it, we should pay. And by the way, the UNH folks have $500 to $600, and I think we spent under 300 the last time. I don't have the numbers with
Yeah.
me, but I don't think we'll need that. But if it's more expensive because we have a limited number of venues on a Sunday, we might need the
So-
difference.
The Stephanos is open.
Are they open?
Right.
Okay.
Good.
so because of the actual connection with our Friendship City, I think right of first refusal to De Stefano's, particularly if we're gonna pay, would be appropriate.
Mhm.
Because I would hate to assume they don't want to do it and have them be offended that they weren't asked.
And if I know what I'm asking for, Mark, I can certainly do that.
yeah, and do we wanna just do like calzones for 20 people?
Do you eat calzones at room temperature or are they hot?
No,
mean,
they're room temperature.
You can do room temperature or you can heat them up, but they're not, you know what I mean, it's appropriate.
Or ask Stephanos what they can, what
Yeah,
they would recommend
Okay,
for X
Um,
dollars.
25 to 30.
like a lot of their other stuff, they serve cold, like their meatballs and sauce and stuff like that, so that would be hard.
Yeah, I'll let them know we're talking about paying them, not
Yeah. okay.
asking for it.
And we wanna get drinks from them as well, or?
We got drinks last time from BJ's, got
Yeah.
a whole selection, and we probably have some left still. All of the tableware, I ordered a bunch of kind of the fancy paper things, and we have a lot of that left.
Okay, awesome.
We don't need that. If we do get to Stefano's, I'd recommend something like fruit salad or something from somewhere else.
Yeah,
I think they do that kind of thing, but I think it'd be nice to have something else light or fresh.
any input ideas or?
I don't have any opinion on
Right.
it at all.
No opinion?
But no, I think it's good that the Stefanos is a good idea, and that gives it, hey, this is from a family that was part of this, displaced North End. Ties it into the film and everything. And it's American Italian, right? It's not Italian. That's, and not, be honest to who we are, right? What's our backup plan if the Stefanos doesn't?
Market best, no.
Yeah. Yeah. Go pick up like 10 lobsters.
Yeah.
I thought we were brainstorming this afternoon. I was like, what's American?
You Mary Carey can serve them.
Bob's Clam Hut. Um,
Right.
Maybe that's part of the ask of Lisa or whoever manages De Stefano's, that, because they may not be able to for a variety of reasons.
right, is there someone?
What's your
Suggest.
recommendation?
We can ask Ben too, because I think there's a lot, I don't know, we get a lot. In other meetings, we have a lot of people who go to the kitchen, and again, I don't know if they're open on Sundays if are you our fact checker?
No, I was just, I can't be for
I'm
this.
assigning you. a-
This is easy.
No, I share some employees with the kitchen, so I could ask them to do it.
Hmm?
I share some employees with the kitchen,
You
some
do?
people that work for me in the summer, I work for them.
Did Stefanos do a lot for the last one?
Yeah, that's why we're saying I will make clear that we're talking about paying them. They donated a
They don't.
platter, this is the man. Donated a platter with sandwiches, calzone, and
Hey, Ben.
something else, maybe
No, thanks for
dessert,
coming.
maybe like a dessert thing or something.
The kitchen is open on Sundays.
Okay, good to know. Back up.
Good backup.
We're talking about asking this.
I like the idea of asking the Stefanos first, though.
Yeah.
And if
Yeah.
they have no option.
Exactly. If they're like, we can't handle it or we don't want.
Yeah.
Stefano's and the Berniers, that's what Mike Bernier married.
Do we-
Stefano.
Do we get the desserts? Somebody mentioned the desserts. Do we somehow wrap a little bit of Massimo into this? Do we get he always had those dessert boxes. So since we're paying,
Mhm.
do we try to get
I can talk to him.
a dessert tray from him? There's certainly a connection,
Yeah, for
Right?
sure.
and he could,
Same thing. If we have money, and I don't know that we do, it may be only what the UNH has, because I haven't talked to anyone in the city about cash. But if I find out from DeStefano's what the price is, and then we still have money, I think inviting it and saying, again, both DeStefano's and Massimo are people who in the past have donated things. And I'd like to be able to say that we'll pay them.
okay,
I like that.
But we could ask, yeah, I'll check with them.
Ben, the one thing that I forget who asked about is to show the Lost North End film at the Levinson Room after the lunch, after the reception.
I shared the prices before we started, but we can talk about whatever you would like in here, but I've got the prices that we could send on to Amy.
Yeah.
And then and just tell her what you told me to contact you if they're interested.
Perfect.
Were you here when we were talking about that? This is the special prices that Ben found for hotel rooms.
oh, no,
So there were several members, I guess. that
Yeah, I
reached out.
think there's some pretty attractive
There's some really,
pricing in there that would,
and they're central. Mary Carey and I were talking about how it would be nice if they were central where they could go walking. If they
yeah, I
don't
only
have-
really sent it to downtown properties.
So in terms of our previous discussions about the level of hospitality of hotels, we're talking AC, Hampton Inn, Residence Inn, Sheraton, all in that downtown.
great. Thanks for doing that,
We
Ben.
can go as luxurious as $800 and something or.
With an igloo dinner.
Yes, yeah, I think that's actually,
Not knowing their budget, we could
yeah.
offer them a broad variety of options.
I think they too have taxpayers to answer to.
I think
Yeah.
they do too.
Just pass along what was given to.
No, yeah, I love it. It's good to know what world I live in.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, let me do the math. on that.
I got a room I can rent out. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, all right.
What else do we need? We need,
Can we just review the logistics? So I understand there'll be a UNH 10:30 to 1:30.
No, they'll be at the music hall.
Music hall.
Down to 1:30. Oh, lounge, you're right.
Yeah.
Ah,
What are the times for that?
10:30 to 1:30,
1:30.
Music Hall Lounge.
Watching movies and not eating.
Yeah,
So
so,
presumably hungry at 1:30.
yeah.
So then we get him to the library
1:45.
by what means?
That is up to UNH. They may be walking.
UNH, okay.
Yeah, not us
So people talking,
walking. Yeah.
people talking, chat, put on the jackets, all that stuff. So they're getting to you
At
2-ish?
Yeah. 2 to 3 reception. Food,
And then-
greet the mayor if he can make it,
Mhm.
greet some other city officials if they're there,
And then,
and then watch the movie from 3 to 4.
We should invite council. Just as a courtesy, we should always invite council.
Yeah, and then we're done. But I was saying earlier, I got the room for the day, so if it spills over. But they have something else, 7 o'clock, they've got more movies. I think they've got the film fest again, like 7 to 9.
Back in the lounge?
No, I think it's back at UNH.
UNH.
Yeah. Hang on. I think that was in one of the emails.
there's something at the day before they have a concert at the press room.
That's right, Saturday they're at
So
the,
it's silent
film
Yeah.
music.
and then, 7 to 9 at UNH, they're gonna see a Fellini movie. Just including this for larger context is what she said, so we're not doing it, but if they wanted to stay till 5, there wouldn't be a problem. If they wanted to extend the reception, chat until 3:30, that's not a problem, I think, to do the movie.
So they come in the 27th, Friday.
I think so, I confirmed that
And-
too, is that right, Ben?
That's correct.
If the mayor can't attend Sunday, is there room for him to meet with Mayor Sacchetti for the whole entourage, to meet with the mayor, say Friday afternoon? What time do they get in? And they don't,
27th. Oh, yeah, I guess it is.
and they don't leave
Friday,
till
they
the
get in the
second.
evening.
Okay, so they don't leave till the 2nd. So if Sunday doesn't work,
Yes.
what does Monday, the 30th?
Sunday is not possible for our mayor.
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, because the 2nd is until Thursday.
Else in the schedule.
They may want, Mayor Sacchetti in particular may want a one-on-one like he had last time.
Exactly.
It's probably gonna fun. There's all the stuff that you presented to us, like Slow City,
Yeah,
the lights, the film. And I don't wanna assume, but I would anticipate that he would anticipate,
follow-up.
yeah,
Yeah.
and
And
I don't know if
the
the-
Public Art Review Committee has lots of questions for Tiziano. So that if we can figure out when that is, because we've said, okay, here's this artwork,
Right.
you deal with it. They came back and said, okay, we've got questions and
I wonder if we
because
could get the
Tiziano's
questions before.
yeah, well, they keep asking questions that we've already given the answers to, so, but I can fine tune that, and yes, I think it's an excellent idea to send them
Send
to
it
him
to-
in advance.
Yeah, and let him think it
Particularly-
through if there's any thinking to be done.
so you're gonna reach out to, who's gonna reach out to DeStefano's?
I'm gonna reach out to DeStefano's, and then if they don't wanna do it or can't do it,
Yeah.
ask if they have suggestions. And if they don't, I'll talk to the kitchen. And then depending on how much that costs, along with drinks, shouldn't be that much. I might reach out to Massimo and ask about dessert boxes. Never seen those.
Do you wanna invite council to the?
Sure.
Okay.
I can send a memo to
Yeah.
Joanna.
Anything we're missing?
With the desserts, I just think we'll need coffee or tea,
Okay,
Right.
yeah, we can do coffee.
things that go with it. So,
Yeah, that's not a problem.
And again, we
Yeah.
should probably
Our
ask,
coffee isn't our coffee, but no.
we should.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have an espresso machine.
No, I laughed last time we gave him the coffee from the fourth floor and I was like,
I don't know.
okay.
We'll have amaretto available.
Yeah, I was like,
I'll look
is
at-
that espresso
So they
or
can spice it up a little.
affogato or?
All we have to do is say, when in Rome.
Right.
Drink Americano.
Yeah.
That's right, we can do Americanos for everybody.
We should ask Osmo's courtesy in any event.
Yeah.
Because he will be offended if he hears of it and we haven't asked.
You mean inviting him to the
Invite him?
reception?
Inviting him to
So this is getting much bigger, so I
tell
need
us
a
dessert.
list. Oh, about-
No, I did, for the dessert aspect.
Just
If we're
that,
gonna
yeah.
ask.
Just ask about that.
We should do that no matter if the Stefanos or the kitchen or somebody completely different provides sandwiches.
Yeah.
I think the idea of inviting Massimo to sell us a selection of desserts.
And I was saying,
Is-
assuming that we have the money.
Yes,
that's what
yes,
would-
I agree.
That's what I would
I
do,
agree.
right? So if we don't have any city money to put at this, and I
Right.
don't know of any, then we only have what UNH can provide, and she thought between $500 and $600. So if the Stefanos comes back and it's gonna be $450,
Right, yeah, that,
then we
Right.
don't have a choice. But I don't think it will be, but I just wanna be prepared for that. I think you're absolutely right, and as I said, I'd rather
that would be nice.
offer to pay people who have given to us free in the past, so.
Particularly who have a connection. Now that the film is part of this exercise.
So if there are other people that you think should be invited to this reception, could you email me so that we have a correct number? And I'll talk to the high school teacher about how many kids we're talking about.
Mhm.
They may have plans that day, they may not be interested, but some of them are pretty about programs that they might.
Nothing was open on Sunday.
They're not open on Monday,
I've
but they
heard-
might.
I believe so. I believe so.
Come on, if only.
Robert's on
Sunday or
it.
Monday.
He's getting so good. If you
I'm
need
single,
part-time
so I don't
job,
know.
I
Robert,
am just like my.
I could be a research librarian.
you could be a reference librarian.
Or a concierge, you're gonna
Yeah, you
push
can.
your empty out.
You're taking Mary Carey's job.
But yeah, I think that's a good start. We'll email Christine if we have anyone we should add.
Yeah, and if anyone
But
could,
don't wanna get too crazy. I don't wanna be like, we're inviting every,
exactly,
you know.
yeah. But could
Person.
someone send me Donna's
Yeah.
contact? Cause I don't have anything for her.
Let's not, keep it what it is, right?
Yeah, we're open on Sunday.
They are open, okay.
Monday they close. Yeah.
All right.
I closed on my birthday, it was.
Anything else at the?
Where are we with creating this, our checking and savings account or other ones? No,
Special revenue
I
fund?
think the last thing that happened was the committee asked me to do something
Okay,
and I didn't
Just
do it.
the.
Okay,
Oh, yeah.
simple-
all right.
well, 2 weeks.
We'll have an update on
2
the
weeks
next
early.
meeting.
It occurred to me afterwards, I can't mess around in city legal business without somebody in the city legal department or the city manager, maybe somebody telling me it's okay.
But my impression from the last meeting I had with them was that it was easy peasy with finance and they didn't need. So what we're talking about for you to do, I think, is a template letter for a donor, but not really a legal document because we don't need it for the revenue fund.
Yeah, I think that is what they wanted, but it is kind of a legal document. I mean, it's gonna,
Didn't somebody give you authorization to rely on somebody in the legal department to do that?
you
Is that
know,
where we left?
I'll double check too. I'll.
yeah, I don't really, yeah. I got the impression it kind of been taken away from me. I was doing it at one point and then all of a sudden I heard they were doing stuff that I had nothing to do with.
I think
So I
what you
assume
and I
they-
talked about early on was when we thought we were doing more like a trust.
Yeah.
My impression is with this, that anybody can donate to the city and all we wanted was internal to us. The wording that we want to be able to say, to be used for. But we can check with legal and then I can invite you to my office and we can. Have it out on.
We could, the office on Islington Street.
No, the one that has computers in it. Okay, all right, I'll
Alright.
gather all this, and then if we're not making decisions, everyone keep me honest on this. If we're not voting, making decisions, we can email each other.
Yes,
Right?
yeah,
We're not
if
having any-
share of information, yes.
Okay,
But if quorum of the committee sees an email, it becomes a public record.
That's okay, public record doesn't bother me, but it's not a meeting,
You
right?
just don't reply all, reply
That
just
makes it a meeting.
one
Yes.
person.
Yes.
Okay, so everyone reply, only the person who sent you the email.
Okay.
Gotta get this straight.
I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Second,
Good.
all right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, all right. Thank you, guys.
That's it?
Thank you.
Yeah,
Oh.
that's all we had.
Is
Never planned this one.
So we have a